Ladies and gentlemen, I regret having to apologize today for the absence of our minister, Colonel Llewellyn, but he's been held up by weather and couldn't get here. I've also got to apologize for the absence of Mr. T.P. Wright, who was and is heading this mission. But Mr. T.P. Wright is with His Majesty the King today, so we've had to let it go at that. Now, I'm sure you're with me in welcoming in our works the heads of the American aircraft industry to let them have a look and criticize production methods and just what we're doing. And I'm sure you're more than proud to let them have a look at our Lancaster, which we think is going to need an awful lot of catching no matter where the airplanes come from. Now, I've got to say this in front of our American visitors, that although I do have the odd grouse at you and your committees now and again, but nevertheless, I am just as proud of your efforts as I am of the product which you're turning out. Not only Mr. Carlton Ward, who is now heading this mission in the absence of Mr. T.P. Wright, and perhaps Mr. Ward would introduce to you each member of the American mission as they come forward. Mr. Carlton Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Dobson. As I stand here, I am deeply impressed by what I see before me. You're British citizens who are carrying on the war in the front rank. We in America hope to do our share and stand squarely behind you and later with you. Now I want to introduce the two gentlemen on this mission first, who are building large bombers that you also read about in the paper, the Flying Fortress and the Liberator. So I'm going to call first on Mr. Philip Johnson, the president of the Boeing company who build the Flying Fortresses.
Fellow workers, we're very happy to have had the opportunity to visit with you and to see some of your works. We are greatly impressed with the diligence which you pursue your appointed tasks, many times under conditions which are far from ideal. We are also impressed with the great work that the women are doing in carrying out this war effort.
I will call on another member of the team. I'm going to call on Mr. McLadden, or Mr. I.M. Ladden, the designer of the Liberator, of the Catalina, the Coronado, the great Navy patrol boats, and the great Liberator bomber. Mr. Ladden.
I very deeply appreciate the honor of being here. I want to congratulate all of you on the excellent airplane which you are building. It's truly a wonderful airplane. It's very well defended. It performs excellently, and I'm quite sure that when you really get rolling, as I'm sure you will within a short time, Mr. Hitler's life will be made most miserable with the Lancaster. We hope on our side that we'll supplement your efforts with the products which we're building, and that together we'll achieve the ultimate result, about which there is absolutely no question in my mind. Thank you.
I'm told we have another minute or two, so I want to introduce now the chief engineer, the vice president of the Martin Company, who's building the Maryland bombers that are now doing such important work in the Near East in supporting General Montgomery. Mr. Ken Ebel.
On behalf of the 53,000 workers in the Martin organization, I want to bring greetings to the workers who build the Lancaster and our pledge that we're with you till the finish.
Now I want to call on the representative of the United Aircraft Corporation of the United States, and this is the gentleman who is responsible for the Hamilton propellers, now built by your de Havilland Company in this country. Mr. Sidney Stewart.
It's a great privilege and pleasure to be here in England to see the fine work you are doing. You'll certainly carry a good story back to the States with us.
Fellow workers, that brings our little tour to an end. Our visitors now have got to go and look at our designs department and our pre-production methods and that sort of thing. And although we've spent the odd few minutes here listening to them, I know I can assure our American visitors that you will make quite certain that Mr. Hitler doesn't have a laugh out of this. He hasn't gained 10 minutes, and that you'll quite comfortably make it up during the afternoon. Now, we have with us today our chairman, Sir Frank Spencer Spriggs, whom you all know. I'm sure he'd like to say a word to you. And we have, I see, Mr. Sopwith, the chairman of our group, standing back there, keeping well out of the way. But I would like, Sir Frank, just to have one word with you.